Of the myriad platitudes that make the rounds of the glorified goddamn re-education center that is the schoolhouse of the modern day, none in my eyes is more caustic, subversive, or pernicious than the puerile premium that's placed upon political moderation. I almost don't even need to bore you with examples because I guarantee you've weathered the following tepid take enough times to recite it from fucking memory. Our political process is too stratified. What we need is to link hands across the aisle, come to the middle and whistle Bob Dylan tunes around a koosh campfire for a great big transcontinental clam bake. To that I offer the following cogent, if somewhat wordy, rejoinder. Bullshit! You gonna run that by you again, or you got it the first time? Oh, and for all the assholes claiming that my channel has gotten political, here's a fucking video from 2011, around 2 years after the establishment of my fucking channel, that you can shove straight up your goddamn jimmy hole.
Everyone struggles so valiantly in politics to convince us of how similar they are to their esteemed colleague across the aisle, that at the end of the day, what we really have is a glorified one-party rule. When I get into the ballot box, I want a liberal and a conservative to be on the ballot, because the word for that phenomenon, folks, is fucking choice.
Point being, if I walk into a voting booth, and my choice is middle-of-the-road boomer number 1, and middle-of-the-road boomer number 2, first and foremost, there is nothing middle about that road, as it's necessarily couched in collectivist dogma, a left-wing ideology, and second, how is that not a tyranny of homogeneity? I am not making a choice in that instance. In fact, I am not permitted to make a choice. The state is whitewashing that choice before it's even proffered to me. The only thing that changes is the letter after the name. Well, proponents of that arrangement can have 4 letters from me, and you don't even have to register to goddamn get them. You can cry about the game of fascist versus Bolshevik brinksmanship all you like, incidentally while ignoring the fact that those are both offshoots of socialism, but for me to have anything approximating a choice, I want my leftists to be leftists, and my righties to be righties.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. And let me remind you also that moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue.
Coming together and incidentally removing all choice in favor of the illusion of emotional maturity are a silent form of slavery. Ask Arizona voters who put McCain back in office under the proviso of completing the danged fence, only to middle of the road like a motherfucker, get dick done, die in office, only for the fence to finally be completed by Donald Trump, the man he hated the very fucking fiber of in life. Makes me want to rig up a baby monitor so I can actually hear this lying fuckstain spin in his grave. Point being, the vaunted middle ground is not a position. It's a tool, a wedge used to shift the famed Overton window steadily leftward until we accept a premise that is flawed by its very utterance. And for those bemoaning the clannish bullshit and partisan acrimony, believe it or not, we're in the same boat here, but you desperately need to understand that these are not products of mere partisanism. They're not even a result of a social media generation where every halfwit has a hot take and people naturally corral themselves into their desired socio-political pig pens. There have been instances throughout history of spirited, fucking functional governments where partisan interests competed viciously and even sometimes dubiously, and the country and populace thrived regardless. In case you haven't noticed, by the way, so are we. This is a result of one thing and one thing alone. The party that lost won't accept it. From impeachment to shitting money and California residents at red states attempting to overturn electoral will, this is not what acceptance looks like. And ask any crisis counselor for confirmation, but until you accept your circumstances, it is formally fucking impossible to progress and improve. A functioning political party accepts its loss, alters its arguments and messaging, and makes another crack at it the next go-around. Not deny reality, shriek at the sky, and assure their increasingly unhinged, dwindling pool of remaining constituents that this is the last year our rival will remain in power. You want your culprit? Don't blame Twitter or Facebook or 4chan or the fucking YouTubes. Step across the aisle and tell them to fucking cope. And the plea to moderation itself is another example of refusal to accept an electoral result. Sesame Street platitudes about coming together and uniting as one, beyond being meaningless placated horseshit engineered to divest the electorate of any and all choice, also happen to betray their true origins by the merest utterance. It's right there in the verbiage, boys! As one. Not many, not individuals, not even sovereign fucking municipalities. Uno! The watchword of moderation always, as ever, is collectivism. By the chrome-plated penis of the Silver Surfer, it's right there in the name. Propaganda. Pure and unfiltered. And you bought it. For fucking years you bought it. And I'm in no way excluding myself, by the by. This manner of inculcation is all but mandatory in today's education system, of which I am admittedly a product. And students only change history when they're taking an exam. From the omnipresent propaganda to the gang shootings, the only time a teacher uses chalk these days is to draw an outline around a body. And between the Trotsky textbooks and teacher-student molestations, I can't decide what the state is fucking more, your mind or your ass. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.